Hello and welcome back to Athlantic, the show where an American and a Brit take turns crossing the pond to learn about sports culture in the UK and the USA. I am your resident Brit, Harry Collins.
And I'm your resident American, Adam Jordan. And Harry has cooked up a special episode today. We're not going to be doing our typical back and forth pattern of explaining a sport or learning about a sport from each other. So, Harry, take it away.
Exactly, this one is going to be far more collaborative. It might be a little bit shorter, but in this instance, for our fifth episode, we want to pick elements that we like from one sport and then bring them over into another to enhance either the viewing experience or make the games work simpler, or if they're just silly, I've got a couple of silly ones in here. But how we're going to do this, to make this a little bit of a game and to initiate a little bit of discussion, we're both going to say which sport we're taking an element from and which sport we're taking an element to, and what sort of what we hope to improve in that second sport, and then the other host is going to hopefully try and guess correctly, and when they get it wrong, it'll be even more funny. So yeah, a little bit. Nobody's going to be learning anything here, other than the audience learning how long their patience lasts. So Adam, would you like to start, or shall I?
I'm gonna let you start since this idea was your brainchild a while ago.
Now I'm gonna start actually picking up from episode 3 of the podcast, where we talked about cricket and baseball, the bat and ball games. So I would like for my first game to maybe preserve something in baseball. I would like to take an element that is core to both English cricket teams in England and internationally, about what's my clue? It's about infrastructure.
So you want to take something from baseball to cricket?
No, I'm gonna give baseball something that
That's
we
right.
take for granted in cricket.
That's right. Okay. Give baseball something you take for granted in cricket.
And it is
Infrastructure.
based infrastructure and sort of the game day experience.
Ooh, okay.
And my last clue is this is not extinct in baseball, but I think a lot of people might think it might be going that way.
Oh my goodness. What? Okay, taking something like game day experience in cricket, bringing it to baseball. It's not extinct in baseball. So
Now this might not be entirely fair, because I don't think you're as familiar with cricket as maybe as fair.
yeah, I'm wondering if it's like, can I ask, is it specifically something to do, like, will this affect anybody but fans?
It will affect cities in what I think is an overwhelmingly positive way. Do you want to guess, or I'll tell you?
I was gonna say public transit. What is it?
Hey, flip that backwards. I don't want. Well, I mean, public transport is a part of it. I want baseball stadiums to be in the middle of cities.
Okay.
And Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, they still very much are.
Yep.
But if you look at the now defunct Oakland Coliseum and what is it, the Dodgers Stadium? Yeah, we've discussed this. Just the Dodgers Stadium's a glorious aesthetic stadium in the hills of Hollywood, and it's the biggest stadium. I think it's 56,000 seaters. But in London, we've got Lord's and we've got the Oval, and they're right in the middle of the city, and there's an incredible atmosphere. Everyone can walk to the game. Yeah, I want to put baseball stadiums back in cities, and a lot of them still are. But
This is just advocating for good walkable infrastructure, really, which
Yes.
we are always for. I love that.
Poorly disguised by me, but yeah.
Oh yeah. The fun thing about Dodger Stadium is it's actually a terrific argument, just visually. It's a terrific argument for how in America we dedicate too much of our just space, our city space, to cars. Because it shows how so many people can fit into this tiny little area, and then all around it is just concrete and asphalt. Yeah. So okay, that's a good one. That's a good way to start.
Just quickly off the top of your head, what is your like we've mentioned in the past? Could you give me your top 3 favorite baseball stadiums?
Ooh, okay, good one.
Putting you on the spot. I know what one of them is.
Yeah, number 1 is PNC Park, and home of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that's, yes, I am very biased there, but also you will see it either at 1 or 2 on most people's lists.
Perfect.
I would say that one. I want to say Wrigley Field, but I've never actually been, which is a crime.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, but man, I gotta go someday.
Sure.
I would probably put number 2 actually Petco Park in San Diego, home of the San Diego Padres.
Cool.
It's pretty much in the middle of downtown San Diego, and it's a beautiful park, very wide open. It's just a great place to watch a game.
Cool.
I would say that one, and then number 3, I think pretty easy to say Oracle Park out in San Francisco, home of the Giants. Beautiful stadium.
Sure.
I could also just as easily put one of the older stadiums, like I said, like Wrigley or Fenway Park, or even Dodger Stadium. So tough to say, but those are my top 3.
Good answers. Okay, Adam, what is your first?
All right.
Sports transplant.
My first one is we will be taking something from the National Hockey League, and we will be putting it into the world of men's soccer.
Fighting.
That I love how quick you were with
brawl.
that. I love how quick you were with that.
A massive fight.
That would be really funny and probably very entertaining, but no, it is not that.
Okay, what's the clue? What's your category?
The category is that it definitely does involve. I would say it involves pace of play and play style.
Ooh. Does it have to do with the ball in soccer being out of play?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking either you have like a shot clock to keep it in, like the wall on an ice hockey rink.
I would also say I will also give you the hint that it is slightly personality based, and I will also say it involves a little bit of American snobbery.
I'm right back to fighting again. Is it how we measure the time in soccer? How it runs and runs and we add added time?
It is not. It is not.
All right, hit me with it. Go for it.
So it is bringing how NHL players take hits and bringing it to soccer. I am very tired. I love soccer. I love the beautiful game. It is wonderful. I have the utmost respect for it. But my most American take about soccer is that the guys flop too freaking much. And I said men's soccer because it only seems to be the guys.
Doesn't happen in
women's soccer. Women do not do that at all. I mean, occasionally you'll see it, but it is. I am tired of seeing somebody. Now personally, I have never played soccer beyond intramurals, so I have never felt what it is like to take a boot to the shin. It hurts. I'm sure it hurts.
Yeah, but not.
But we don't need to take some extra rolls. We don't need to be laying on the ground for 10 minutes.
God, that's a very good one. I unfortunately I completely agree. I just my disdain for how diving, as we call it, is now it's a tactic.
Yeah, they actually
elite teams learn how to do it properly.
It's honestly, I have to say, it's embarrassing. I love the sport, but it's embarrassing.
I'm glad that we completely agree on both of our first sport transplants. This is
Yes.
going well.
Yes. All right. Number
I've,
two.
I've got now we agreed that we were going to do sort of three each, but I've actually done four, but two of them are silly, so we're going to do them very quickly. And here's my first silly one. I am going to take something from MLB, and I'm going to apply it to every single sport in the entire world, and it has to do with uniforms.
That the head coach or manager has to wear
Yes!
the uniform. Yes.
Yes, it's so good. It's so silly because you get like, and everyone will have seen Moneyball and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's just stood there, not in shape, does not look like a baseball player, and he's just stood on the sidelines wearing a full uniform, and you wonder, God, you just wish you were playing. But yes, I want to see Pep Guardiola wearing the full shin pads. I want it to be. We call
Full
them
kit.
Full kit wankers. Yeah, I want to see.
So, a couple things about this. One, I highly recommend you and all of our viewers watch after this episode is over. Watch George Carlin's piece about this. He actually has like a little like comedy bit about this, and it's very funny.
Cool.
The other thing that I will say is it is honestly going out of style more and more for managers to actually wear like the jersey. Like they'll wear the pants because I think you have to wear the pants, but they'll wear like a sweatshirt over it or a hoodie or like, something. It used to be, it is. And it used to be, I think the reason that they had that rule or the reason that managers did that is because there was a rule that you like were not allowed to go onto the field unless you were in a uniform. In fact, one of the longest reigning, actually, I think the longest reigning manager ever, a guy named Connie Mack, who was like, I think he retired in like the 50s, so he was very, very old. He used to wear a full suit in the dugout, and so he couldn't go out to make pitching changes. An assistant coach had to go out and do it.
Good for him.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I want whoever the Kansas City Chiefs manager, I want him to wear full pads, please.
Andy Reid with the full get oh man, that
Mr. Walrus. Okay, so that's one of my silly ones.
Okay,
I'd like to hear your next one, please.
Incredible. Well, I actually had one that I was considering adding as a fourth that's a little silly, so I'll add that one in real quick. Okay, this would bring something specifically from soccer on this side of the globe, the Western Hemisphere, into every single sport as well.
Ooh. When you say this side of the globe, do you mean North America? Or
I mean North and South America. I mean the Western Hemisphere.
They do something that they both do. Mm-hmm. In the Western Hemisphere.
I'll give you a hint. Canada doesn't have nearly as much of it. And it has to do with fans. It has to do with fans and experience of taking in a game. Mostly actually not in person, but sometimes in person.
Wow, I'm completely stumped. Something that Canada has less of that you want to implement on the rest of the world, not just soccer, right?
Yes, the rest of the world in all sports.
To do with the fans, is it to do with like broadcast coverage?
Yes.
I feel I'm running myself down is it to do with like how much of it you can see? Like on Apple TV, you can see all of the MLS games?
It is not. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. Because actually I could have added a little piece in there. This is also very prevalent in baseball in Latin America, but it is the commentators, the enthusiasm and the elaborate calls. It is incredible. And by commentators, I mean Spanish language commentators. I do not mean English language commentators.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, incredible. So the Florida Panthers, when they started the NHL team based in Miami, when they started, they added a Spanish language play-by-play broadcast, and they brought in somebody who was primarily a soccer commentator in Latin America. I'm not sure which country. I'm not sure which league.
Sure.
But called goals, and I think he's either still there or just very recently retired. Called goals the same way, the goal.
That's such a good one.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. So that's my
Very,
sillier one.
very good.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to do my last serious one.
Okay.
I want to take something from the NFL and transplant it into men's and women's international soccer. Every game, every level of football, I would like to implement this element from the NFL, and this is entirely to do with officiating and the use of technology in sports officiating.
Is it just like the ability to challenge play? Like, because there's VAR.
It's say more, because I'm gonna give it to you either way. But say more. What do NFL and tennis do?
Oh, like challenges.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you're spot on. In football at the moment we have VAR, but when it is used, it's not up to the teams or the managers. It's all on the referees and the PGMOL. And since we introduced the video assistant referee, go on.
What is the PGMOL?
The PG, I don't know what it stands for, but it's like the union of referees.
Ah,
It's a company that look after all the referees. It's where they live, and they come under a lot of scrutiny, specifically in England, where our level of officiating isn't as good as it should be, given the level of football that we enjoy. So what I would like to do is bring the challenges from tennis, or the red flag, the challenge flag from the NFL, and VAR is not. My proposal is VAR isn't used at all unless the referee on the pitch makes a call, and then the manager submits a challenge. Now the manager can be prompted to submit the challenge by the players involved in the incident, but then the captain on the field has to communicate to the manager, and then the manager submits it. And I'd say, like in tennis, you get 3, and if you're correct, or you get 2 or 3, and if you're correct, you keep them. If you're incorrect, you lose them.
okay.
I want that. I want that in football. That's the right answer. That'll finish everything. And I know that'll finish everything because I wrote that down in my notes app 2 weeks ago when we agreed that this was going to be the episode, and FIFA announced that they were going to trial this in some Ecuadorian league next year.
Interesting.
So FIFA have tapped my phone.
Ooh, wow.
Okay, Adam.
Okay.
I know, this is exciting.
Okay.
What's your next one?
My next one actually, it's frustratingly similar. This is something I would bring specifically from tennis into football at all levels. American football.
Hawkeye.
Yes, exactly. Spot on. Hawkeye.
Why?
Because the way that we determine where the ball is, like where the the spot of the ball on the field is it's basically an eyeball test by the officials, and then where basically the first down line is from the line of scrimmage is determined by literal chains.
I've said that.
Like the chain,
That's very silly.
Yeah, and it's something that it feels like for a sport as with as much prominence and with as much technology put into it, there's got to be a better way to do it than chains. And the NFL, I think, announced fairly recently, maybe it was last year or a couple of years ago, that they were trying out some different technologies.
Sure.
But yeah, there was actually in the ACC, in my line of work, there was a game where there was a blatant error in a team. I forget if it was being given a first down or not being given a first down, but it was because the people in charge of holding the chains just placed them wrong. Like they placed them, the physical chain in the incorrect, like the post in the incorrect place. So
yeah,
there's got to be a better way.
I was going to ask, does it impact scores and the team's ability to play well? But obviously, my last one is a little bit silly, and it's been mooted, it's been floated in the UK before. But I would like to take something from the NBA and transplant it again into. Um, I'm happy to do this in more sports, but I was thinking specifically soccer, men's and women's soccer, and it has to do with I want to add a very specific fixture um, that the NBA do that I don't think other sports do. Now, you might need to correct me if MLB or NHL do this, but we definitely don't do it in football, and I would love to add this single game.
MLB and NHL do this, and I think you're talking about All-Star games.
I am talking about All-Star games. It looks like such a hoot. Yeah, genuinely, I think it's a no-brainer. They clearly don't take it that seriously, especially in the NBA. But like, yes, give me a North versus South Premier League All-Star game now, please. We have enough American owners. Surely they can vote that through.
Yeah, that feels like something that would definitely happen. Yeah, with all the American ownership. I will say it's a little bit of a I wouldn't say be careful what you wish for because I don't think there's really a downside to it, but
Sure.
there's a lot of people that really have kind of turned sour on All-Star games just because of the lack of effort that players put into it. And there's been all
Sure.
sorts of different incentives, monetary, um, Major League Baseball for years and years to try to make the All-Star game have some meaning to it. Literally made whichever team had had home field advantage in the World Series was based on the winner of the All-Star game.
Shut up.
Yeah, until they got rid of
Wow.
them, say maybe like 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's deep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need that.
So it's not always all it's cracked up to be. In fact, like you were saying, the NBA players not taking it super seriously. There was a podcast like a month, maybe 2 months ago that Barack Obama was on. And
Cool.
it was with an NBA player, a couple NBA players, and he was calling them out for how little effort they put into the All-Star game. It was really funny.
The All-Star game happens before the end of the season, right?
Yes, it's the middle of the season.
So they don't want to get injured.
Yep.
Put
Yeah.
it put it as like a showcase either at the beginning of the season or right at the end.
Yeah,
That's when I would have the Premier League one.
That's what the NFL does. The NFL does it, although the NFL's basically completely ripped it up. Something called the Pro Bowl, but they basically don't even have the game anymore. It's a bunch of
They just do
different
those challenges, right?
skills competitions and like a flag football game. So it looks completely different. And it's not as simple. I don't think it's as simple and as clean as you might think. But I do think that that is an interesting concept. So
Do you know what Soccer Aid is?
I do not.
Soccer
So
Aid
like
is
Live
a
Aid?
I mean, kind of. It does the same. It's the same job, but we just put like celebrities in a football match for 90 minutes. We sell tickets and then we watch it on TV. It's really good. It's really funny. They're like, like Gordon Ramsay, the celebrity chef, played
Yeah.
every year. You probably don't know who Robbie Williams is. Robbie Williams was a huge artist in the UK who never broke America. God bless him. He tried so hard. He did it a lot. We had
I know Robbie Williams.
oh
Yeah,
my God.
I know Robbie Williams.
Woody Harrelson scored the winning penalty in a penalty shootout. He
What?
didn't know what penalties were. He didn't know how to kick the ball, but he somehow scored the winning. It was really cool.
Incredible.
So yeah, that's as close as we get at the moment to an All-Star game.
That's fun.
Like
I think
One Direction people have been on it. Yeah.
Love it.
One
Yeah, I
Direction
think
people.
I've
Like I don't,
One Direction people.
like I don't know who's in One Direction. I'm English. All right, Adam. Do you have a last one?
I do have a last one, and this is one actually kind of going back to our previous episode about NASCAR. This is something
Sure.
I would bring from NASCAR into Formula One. And my hint on this is that we have already actually kind of talked about this offline, and you disagree with it.
Oh, well, on the one hand, I'm going to look like a bad friend because I don't remember what you're talking about.
It's just because we talk so much, Harry.
I talk to you far more than I talk to anyone in my family. Right. One that I would genuinely like to see come from NASCAR to Formula One is smaller pit crews. I don't know if you want to give me like a clue,
It's it.
but I would love to see like a two-man pit crew that like slow down pits and make it far more of an art.
It has to
But go
do.
on.
It has to do with cautions/safety cars.
Um, it's something about the restart after a safety car, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't like, yes, I remember, you don't like how a certain Dutch world champion gets to decide after a safety car when everybody goes quickly again. You want everyone to race up to a line like Mavericks.
Yes.
Like Mavericks who want to fight.
I want
I
there to be a
like it.
designated spot. You told me you didn't like this.
I don't. Before the last episode of the Athlantic podcast, I didn't want anything from NASCAR, and now I'm far more open.
And now I've confirmed it. So okay, my reasoning for this is just because it doesn't make sense to me that, like, I understand being in first place comes with its advantages, but it just makes so little sense to me that something that is so monumental in the sport, like a safety car, where it shakes up the entire race, that one driver just gets this massive advantage. Like, I understand that you reward the driver in first place, but, like, that's not how... I don't know. That just doesn't feel in the spirit of sports rules to me. It feels like you should be playing by a uniform thing. I don't know.
I don't think it's been... I don't think Formula One has used... And I don't know off the top of my head, so if anyone's watching or listening, please leave a comment and educate me. I think the rule changed in our lifetimes. I think it changed in the last 10 years. I think it might have changed in the last 5 years.
Really?
That they do that. And I'm not against repealing that rule. Because the thing is, you don't do it in Formula One. We now have the virtual safety car where everyone has to stay within a certain delta of the car in front of you, and you have to stay within a certain delta of the lap time, and you don't have the same advantage. So you're right. Why should a certain Dutch machine decide when everybody goes again? Because yeah, you're right. He uses it to his advantage all the time, and it doesn't seem like Lando Norris seems to know how to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue, like, yeah, okay, other drivers could figure it out, like, do the same thing. Sure, yeah.
They don't.
It just doesn't. Yeah, they don't. It just feels silly that it's so not uniform. So yeah,
I'm fine with that. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this was good.
Well,
this was good. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
okay. Because I gotta tee up this one other thing. Okay. Any closing thoughts on anything? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I enjoyed this. I think this could be something that we do sort of periodically, a silly little episode like this.
Absolutely.
I've got so many more.
It's very fun.
So many more sport transplants to bring along to a later episode.
Oh yeah.
But please go.
I have one more thing. I do have I promise you very quick, because I know we're running low on time. But we will have I have a very quick sport math for you.
Oh my god, yes, of course,
yes,
that was a given, yes.
It is my turn. It is my turn to hit you with that. So this one actually goes. It's very simple. It's just a higher or lower, or a greater than, or less than, or equal to, and it is in honor of a truly legendary retirement that we had very recently in Rafael Nadal. So I need you, Harry, to tell me, is the number, which number is greater or less? I'll actually say they're not equal. I'll give you that. Is the number of Grand Slam singles championships that Rafael Nadal won throughout his career greater than or less than the number of NHL players ever that have been born in the UK?
NHL players ever that were born in the UK?
Yeah, and I'm not asking you even to give me the numbers. I just want less than or less. Yeah,
you are being very kind. My immediate impulsion is to say it has to be more than, because Nadal won so many on clay. I think Nadal won certainly in the teens. Dan is asleep next door, and he would absolutely crucify me for not knowing this. And also, I love Nadal. He was my favorite of the. I mean, love Federer, but he was my favorite of the big four when we were growing up. I'm going to stick with my gut because also I couldn't name. I watched, as I mentioned in the last episode, I watched ice hockey in England for the first time, and I couldn't name any of them either. So I couldn't name a single NHL player from the United Kingdom. Then again, hockey's been around a while. I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to say the number of Grand Slams won by Rafa Nadal is greater than the number of British players in the NHL ever.
It is actually less than.
No.
Shockingly, I was shocked to learn this. I just thought of this and was like, oh, this is going to be easy and obvious. There have been.
Sure.
So Rafa won 22 men's singles titles.
Wow.
There have been 53 NHL players born in the UK.
Were any of them any good?
There have been a couple, one of them in like the 30s, like two, I think there's two of them in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but they played decades and decades ago. One of them just retired, had like a decent career. But actually, I also wouldn't blame you for this because none of them actually trained in the UK. They were all just born in the UK. So like,
I just literally, and yeah, they're born in the UK and they moved to the US when they were 3 years old. Then
yeah, so maybe not a fair question, but I just thought that was more of an interesting one.
Yeah, for sure. And now again, as we said at the beginning of the episode, we weren't going to learn anything. I've learned 2 things.
There we go.
Wow. Okay. Well, Adam, I've had a jolly good time doing our sport transplants, and I look forward to doing another one of these. We'll do these intermittently, but I like our current structure of you teach me something, I teach you something, and the audience just like fans at Rafa Nadal's tennis Grand
on the
Slams,
mixed court, on the mixed court of Rafa on clay and Federer on grass.
That's a whole episode. That's a whole episode on its own.
Could be.
But I will be driving episode 6, and we will bring that to you very soon. I've got nothing else from me, Adam. I hope you have a terrific rest of your week.
I hope you have an even better rest of your week. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow and rate on Spotify, and follow us on TikTok.
Thank God I threw to you. God I threw to you because I was not going to remember that.
someone's gotta do the dirty work around here. All right.
YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok, everyone. See you later, Adam.
Bye.